back for Season 3. We're going to Atlas's lab, and I think this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, if you don't remember, this is where the Thug Finals took place between these two teams. Although I don't remember if it was on this map or not, but I do know
I think it was, actually.
that Polar Cortex at CyberSwipe, they were fated to beat in Grands. Some things happened along the way, and they ended up having that meeting after, which CyberSwipe did win. They also had an impressive performance in Sony Hate's eject button, so this team has been on the up. That being said, a nice looking team for Polar Cortex, the Mako, now Rasmus, a really, really safe team composition. You have open net scoring from the Rasmus, you have barrier pressure from the Now, and you have a lot of utility coming out of the Mako. But Zoe the Witch is on her signature pick, the Dubu forward, which I actually don't know if I've ever seen her lose a game on this pick, I'll be honest. So I'm really excited to see how things go as both barriers fall and the goal goes the way of Polar Cortex for that first point.
Yeah, a little bit rough there for CyberSwipe. They lost a bit of early control, and once you get that double barrier, momentum can quickly fall away. But Polar Cortex off to a solid start, and Dave Chaotic with a quick level 2 will set them up in a pretty solid position for this next point here early on in the game. But CyberSwipe, of course, recovering from that little bit of a fluke there, as they'll be the ones to bring down a quick double barrier now, and the Tofu coming out, Expo Chan cyber swiping up. Now a pass up here to Zoe the Witch. The snare drums coming out. Name Chaotic able to recover now. And looks like the pressure coming back here for Polar Cortex. They'll get one barrier. Name Chaotic trying to maintain control. Will be able to snipe away 2. Now Zoe the Witch dribbling up the field, but loses control. Name Chaotic versus the Blobbo and Assertive, able to clear it out just in time. Core flip here from Expo Chan. The glitch pop as a distraction and sinks it to the top side. I don't think I've seen that play before, but it was definitely pretty good.
That was awesome. I have never seen that before either. I saw the glitch pop come out, and I'm like, all right, let's see some like crazy play into the bottom corner, and then the Fool walks down, and Expo Chan says, that's right, indeed, you are a fool. As I'm just going to slip it right past you. That was an awesome goal. Both barriers go down, unfortunately, again for CyberSwipe. But still, I'm just kind of in awe at that Expo Chan goal. That was some really impressive stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the stuff you expect with CyberSwipe and Polar Cortex. They're two of the most fun teams to watch. And, the Fool with a rocket down the bottom side. Just narrowly getting it in past that slime there. Polar Cortex now up 2-1 off of that power play. Looks like we got one flip per side here. But it's almost hard to say like who's in a winning state in this matchup, because it's really any given point is anybody's point with how these teams are.
Yeah, the Fool kind of responded in kind there. After Expo Chan kind of made a fool of him, he decided to make a fool of Expo Chan a bit. And I think these team comps both need a little bit of time to get online, so this first set is going to be really important. But the big thing I want to point out about the way that these teams play is that once that ball reaches the midline, roughly, Zoe the Witch kind of becomes the midfielder, and Expo Chan tends to become that scoring threat, especially on the second barrier. Unless the Dubu gets like a really good wall or something. Oh, great play from Name Chaotic, great conversion in the net. Assertive not able to make it back in time for the flip, and the first set goes the way of Polar Cortex. But yeah, I was saying that the Dubu really becomes the midfielder in the enemy half, just with the size and the slick kicks and the speed. They just exert so much control, and it opens up Expo Chan's more aggressive picks like the Aimi or the Rune to do more of the scoring with either creative ball manipulation or hit stun. That it's kind of interesting seeing that dynamic flip. This is sort of like the J-Man Fire Maiden team where Zoe the Witch is just so comfortable playing a more core control style as the Brawler that you can see them kind of flip a switch and change roles on a dime. That being said, big draft notables there. Getting the stacks on stack, I think, is a really, really big pickup. At the same time, Zoe the Witch's Stagger Swagger also going to be huge boon for them. So pretty even draft overall, and excited to see how the tides of the match change going into this next set.
And right now, the tide's turning in favor of CyberSwipe, but the health bars not so much, as Zoe the Witch having to fall back here a little bit and claim the orb, but Name Chaotic pushing up from downtown. Slamming the Dubu off the map.
Oh.
And another power play here for Polar Coretex, but Expo Chan doing a good job of buying a lot of time, assertive up in the midfield as well. Many precious seconds there spared for Cyberswipe for the Dubu to come back, but now Expo Chan not looking too hot. Will be able to avoid the ensnare drums. The pressure's still on. A slime to get it out of the way. The core rotating back over to Polar Coretex's side of the field, but Name Chaotic able to sneak it on through, and a big KO onto Expo Chan. The final line of defense will crumble. It's Polar Coretex picking up another point here. Some crazy KOs that one, and I mean, that's 3 prize fighter stacks now for Name Chaotic, by the way. The only one who took prize fighter at the start of this.
Yeah, that's 3 stacks for Name Chaotic. That guy is going to be hitting really, really hard. And Expo Chan, I think, is going to be their #1 target all game. With the Stagger Swagger on the Dubu, it's a little hard to kill them. And never mind, as Assertive goes down to the Rasmus probably out of the net. This Rasmus is killing everyone and is making short work of Cyberswipe as the health bars keep dropping lower and lower. Expo Chan now staggered. Oh, great evade, dodged the KO. And I think my main feeling of how this game is going is I just don't think they're getting enough value out of the Juno. Similar to last game with Woe Chills, they're just kind of struggling to make the most of the momentum boost Juno. The ball is just not quite hanging out far enough down court for the Juno to be able to keep control up. Like, the idea behind this team comp is that you win kickoff, and then the Juno uses her speed to stay downfield for as long as possible as a great strike around the primary. Gets it into the bottom side of the net. And yeah, if you aren't keeping control of this comp, you're just going to get steamrolled like we're seeing this game, and it doesn't help that Name Chaotic's picking up KOs off of the back of some stellar plays on his own either, but we're going to need something major to turn around for Cyberswipe to be able to get back a little bit of momentum for themselves in this game.
Yeah, Name Chaotic has been sticking to Expo Chan, or really anyone whose health bar is low, very consistently, and just finding them in the back of the goal box here. Now with both barriers down, just the pressure coming in from the Whiplash. It's enough to pick up another point here for Polar Coretex. They'll take another set. That one 3-0. And now A, going to be the MVP. Now is one of the last characters you ever want to see get MVP on the enemy team, especially in a high momentum match like this. And we'll see what they will pick up here.
She's got a lot of options. She could go to heavy if they want to keep killing people. Timeless makes sense. It's a deny for the Aimi. Chrono Boost, I think, also would have been a good pick there. Aerials also makes a lot of sense. The heavy for the Rasmus to keep picking up those KOs and feeding into that prize fighter. A second Spark picked up for the Mako, and Primetime is really good for the Dubu as well, but I do think this draft favors Polar Coretex. They've got more creation size for the Now, they've got more lethality for this Rasmus, and they have more cooldowns for this Mako. It just seems like everything that's been going well for them so far is going to keep going well for them after that draft.
Yeah, looking so good. Some solid defense here from the Fool, just playing the Mako sit on the barrier game, but making some really great saves here. And Polar Coretex able to tie it up 1-1 on the barrier here, but a nice shot around the black hole will mean, and now it's Polar Coretex's goal that's open. Name Chaotic with a pendulum swing. It finds a second one though, and now both sides opened up. Name Chaotic kind of looking low, but looking for this core. Zoe the Witch also pretty low, battling over on Cyberswipe's side of the field. Name Chaotic able to avoid the slime and stay alive now. The core floating around in the midfield here. Expo can't get it past the ensnare drums, but the entire team of Cyberswipe come back to KO Name Chaotic, and now the first power play that they've really gotten. They might have a chance to score the point as Zoe the Witch up to Expo. Chance Cyberswipe the top side, and that'll send it in. Cyberswipe starting off with the first point here, looking to make some kind of a comeback.
Yeah, and that prize fighter stack is gone. Name Chaotic has a dead awakening now. Really big for them to start off this point, and as long as we don't see any huge lapses in defense, my bad, my bad, my bad, oh, my bad, no. My bad, my bad, oh, my bad, no. my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad. Yeah, Language, take it away.
The walls of Jericho have crumbled. Yeah, that was a crazy death touch from Name Chaotic. Literally yoinked it from across the field, saw that the angle was good to get the double barrier, and just let it fly. And then it just bounced right back up, and he's like, oh yeah, I could just send this into the goal. A quick callback there, or a quick comeback there from Polar Coretex to tie up the game, but energy is up for Cyber Swipe. They burn one flip to get one berry here. Now Assertive with the flip to keep the core up. Now Zoe the Witch looking to roll on top of it, dribbling up the soup, though. Doesn't quite catch the core as A is able to get it out of there. Now the pressure back in the midfield. Zoe the Witch bringing it down to the bottom side. Not willing to burn the flip until she knows she's got an angle. But named Chaotic hunting for these barriers. Assertive doing a good job holding it down. Does lose the top one. Chan also falling back here on the defense. All three members of Cyberswipe able to get it out of there. And now Expo on the top side in the 1v3. Zoe the Witch trying to work her way back up. The core will float back over. Sort of a little bit of a misstrike there, I think. I'm not entirely sure how that barrier fell, but it did. And now it's both sides opened up. And Chaotic with the core flip available. Insta-flip off the slime and just sends it right in the top side. Polar Coretex now on match point.
Yeah, I think it was probably just a defensive miscommunication. Assertive, I think, thought Zoe was a little bit further up than they ended up being, and so she kind of sends it down, unfortunately, into her own barrier. But, like, that's kind of the risk you have when playing Juno in this meta, and it's why you see so many melee goalies is teams are so much better at punishing just kind of minor defensive mistakes or major defensive mistakes that it's really, really punishing to play these ranged goalies, especially if you get knocked out by the prize fighter from the Rasmus. And so these safer picks like the Mako, like the Atlas, have kind of been taking over, and now we're heading to match point on the open net. And named Chaotic, beautiful strike, sends it between three, closes out the game, and it's a Polar Coretex sweep. Congratulations to them for qualifying for Liftoff.
Yeah, back in the game again. Polar Coretex coming out really hot this Liftoff, or this Launchpad rather. They're going to Liftoff, and they'll probably still be pretty hot there as well. But yeah, this team has not dropped off at all, and I imagine that they'll be terrorizing NAST at least this season if they aren't able to make it to NASA. But yeah, they're looking really good here. Was a bit of a sweep, but Cyberswipe, they'll have another chance. They'll have another chance in the 5th place tiebreaker to make it in regardless. But that was a shorter one, so with that, I think we're just going to be sending it to a bit of a break until we are ready for that match. Unless you have anything else you want to say.
I just want to say, don't go anywhere. Even though that was a losers qualifiers match, we do have one more 5th place tiebreaker coming up between Woe Chills and Cyberswipe. Both these teams were in a league last season and are not slated to qualify for a league yet after today, but I'm sure we'll be seeing more of them in the coming weeks. And we will be right back.